So welcome guys, welcome to our 7th training for 2017, and I hope you've had a really good week. It's been a busy one for our team. We've had several new distributors come in, which has been really exciting, and there's been a lot going on. So well done to all of you guys for posting in the pages and sending out comments and encouraging one another. It's been a really good week. So tonight I'm excited to bring Karen and myself to you to do some training on 3 ways, and I hope you're going to learn some stuff and get some tips on what to say and what not to say and so forth. So let me share screen and we'll hop straight into my PowerPoint. Can somebody give me a thumbs up please, just so I'll make sure you can see it. Yep, cool. Okay guys, so welcome to week 7. Can you believe we're halfway through February? Gosh. So announcements, are you ready? I'm going to fly through these guys. So first reminder guys is that customer service hours are still from 10 p.m. through the night until 10 a.m. And all queries are to be emailed please to audistributorsupport@LifeVantage.com. And if you don't mind, CC me on them so that I can just see what kind of issues we are having, because the more ammunition I have really, the easier it is for us to get a new shipping company. Can I ask you guys just to mute, please, everyone? I'll just mute you quickly. Okay. So, training, notice now guys that there's a pinned post in our Facebook groups and the Team Heart Australia Facebook group. I've created a pinned post which tells you all the training that's on in the week, because I know there's been so much going on and it's really been overwhelming, so I apologize for that, but we've tried to make it easier now by having that pinned post for you, so you can just go there anytime if you want to know what training is on for the week, and you'll find it there. And all the past training updates will be put on teamheart.net/course. We've just had a bit of a hiccup with getting it on there, but that's going to be resolved in the next day. Just a reminder, we've only got 15 days left to qualify for Hawaii. If you need any help, please shout so we can give you a hand. And guys, Pro 3 is really the level that you want to get to as quickly as you can. There's a few reasons for that, but the key one really is that is where the launch bonuses in our compensation plan kicks in. So if you need help on how can you get a Pro 3, what do you need to do, go to teamheart.net, our beautiful new website, work through the first 2 sections, and it'll give you lots of ideas of what to do. But of course, always reach out to us. Okay, we're happy to help you and answer questions, give you ideas, whatever it is that you need. Just a heads up that I will have a new compensation plan video and a really detailed video of what makes up our comp plan, how we get paid, how the ranks are determined, all that kind of stuff. There'll be a new video put up for you tomorrow morning in our team page. So if you're still struggling to get your head around the comp plan, please watch that. Make sure your new distributors watch it as well, because it'll be a really great tool to very detailed explain to you how the comp plan works. So guys, look at this. There's 5 of us on our way to Utah. Brandon and Kristen have already left. They're there at the moment, and they tell me, Mom, it's -1 degree, so it's pretty cool. But G, congratulations, G and Una and Karen and myself and Brandon for qualifying for this. And we're going to be there from Thursday through to Sunday. They're going to spoil us rotten from what I've heard. And we're also going to get some really top-notch training. So guys, we will bring everything we learn back and share it with you. If you have any questions that you'd like us to ask Pro 10s or somebody in the company, shoot those through to us, and of course we will be too glad to do that for you. So this is what you can look forward to when you make Pro 5. You will never miss it, because if you miss one, you'll make the next one. But when you reach the rank of Pro 5, LifeVantage takes you away on a Pro 5 summit. And we are told that this is the best incentive event in the company, because when you reach Pro 5, they want to make sure you stay. So they really want to give you a great experience. So The Pro 5s, there's another Pro 5 summit on the go at the moment. If you make Pro 5 by the end of May, you will be taken away on a holiday, everything paid, in November. So let that be a great goal, guys, because it's so easy to do. Not easy to do, but achievable for everyone. So we've got a beautiful lady tonight, Eileen. I don't know how many of you guys know her, but she's a nurse. She's got a beautiful heart. I've had a few moments with her on Zoom. We've had a few doctors that we've spoken to as well. And this lady just lives to help people. And she's had a tremendous experience on the product. So I'm going to ask her to come on and share with us what she's found, what has happened with Pro Tandem and her. Thanks, honey.
Hi, Charlotte. Thank you. As Charlotte said, I'm a nurse, I'm an RN, and I've been working as such for the last over 20 years, so I'm old. But what I wanted to share with is that last year I had really severe pain, and it started off with just a little bit of pain in my feet, and I went, oh God, you know, maybe I got the wrong shoes, maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe I'm not walking properly. So I went through probably $300 or $400 worth of shoes, tried everything, and the pain just kept getting worse and worse. And in the end, my doctor actually diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis in both feet and heel spurs in both feet. So walking for me was like walking on cat heads, like Bindi, Lego. It was horrific. Being a nurse, I had to work 8 hours, sometimes 9 hours a day, and then sometimes double up and work a double shift, which was 16, 17 hours. And I was coming home and I was crying. I was in agony. My husband looked at me and goes, what can I do? And it's like, just shoot me. Like, it got that bad. It was like, for God's sake, I was looking at a wheelchair. My doctor had me on Endep. He had me on Lyrica, which is one of the worst medications you could ever have. It numbs your brain. It's really, really bad. And Mercendol, you name it. If there was a painkiller out there, I was on it. And then I had cortisone injections in both feet, which were painful in itself, but they didn't work. Nothing worked. I would come home and I would just sit and cry. And I said to my husband, you know, I think I'm going to have to get a wheelchair because I still need to work, but I don't know how I'm going to cope living at home. So young Kimmy here, who I'll be forever grateful for, started annoying me. And she kept asking me about this little pill. And being a nurse and being a skeptic, I'd be going, it's okay, that's not going to work, it's not going to work. You know, leave me be, it'll be right, something else will work. And she kept annoying me and annoying me and annoying me until I said, you know what, just give it to me. I don't care, just give it to me. I'll try it. So the first 4 weeks, nothing much happened. I still had a lot of pain. I still couldn't walk properly. And then one day I got up and I went, oh, that wasn't as bad as the day before. And it gradually got a little bit better and a little bit better, and to the point where I can now do an 8-hour shift and I can walk and I come home and I've still got energy to go and vacuum the floor or go and feed the dog and play with the dog or just walk, really. I can actually move. And for that I'm extremely grateful for, because up until I had been taking Pro Tandem, I didn't have that. I could not get out of the lounge. I could not get off the lounge when I got home from work. And I stopped taking my Endep. I have stopped taking Lyrica. I don't take Mercendol anymore. It hasn't cured my feet, but it has dropped the pain down to a level where the odd Nurofen or Panadol will actually hold it. And now I tell everybody. I just tell everybody. Somebody asks me, I tell them. And I tell them exactly what happened and exactly what it's done. By no means it's there. Like I said, it's not cured me, but it has actually given my life back, and for that I'm forever grateful to you.
Eileen, do you know what it did? Like, what did the product do? What did it fix?
It actually fixed the inflammation. So, and the ligament and the at the fascia of my feet, what it did was it was really, really tight and it was inflamed. So every time I walked, it actually inflamed the joint and inflamed the foot and the ligaments further. And what it did was it actually reduced that inflammation. The heat went out of my feet.
Okay.
The pain went, yeah. And it's had extra effects as well because now I'm sleeping. So it had some bonus effects as well, like whereas I sleep through the night now where I never did. The dreaded menopause. I don't have half the health vitals I used to. But it's just, yeah, it stopped the inflammation, Charlotte. It's just lowered that to a point where it's now livable.
Awesome.
Mm.
Wow, I love this little yellow pill. No, guys,
So do I now.
yeah, I'm sure. You know, it's just amazing what it does. So how blessed are we to be able to help other people like you feel better and, you know, not suffer from that pain. So it's a huge thing. So thanks so much for sharing. And we believe that your testimony is going to help lots of other people. You know, when we have something good like this and we share it, there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people out there suffering from inflammation. And inflammation causes pain in the joints especially. So powerful story, and we wish you all the best in sharing that, and, you know, hoping that you will attract a lot of people to you that can be helped. So thank you.
It took a little while. It took some guts to actually write it, Charlotte. It's hard to tell people that you're suffering and that you need help, and it's really hard to actually put it in words and actually put it out there for everybody else that can see what you went through.
How long did it take before you saw results?
About 6 weeks.
Okay.
So in that time, I started sleeping better, but my pain started to reduce to about the 5 to 6 week mark.
Okay, awesome. Does anybody have a question for Eileen? Paula? Okay.
I'm going to say,
Let me unmute you. You're just typing it out. Paula, do you want to ask?
that's all right.
What time of day do I take it? I take it in the morning with my breakfast. And what I do is this heat lately, with the heat wave we've had of 45 degrees, and we've actually had catastrophic bushfire weather around where I live, the heat makes my feet worse. So what I do is I take one of the morning, but when we have severe heat like that, or I'm actually doing a lot more work than what I normally do, I actually then take one at night, and the next morning my feet have just gone straight back to normal. They're fine.
So you do one morning and one night?
Yeah, only on the odd occasion where where the heat actually, if the heat is really, really bad in the air,
yeah,
and then it then heats my feet up, and that's when I actually then take the two. But very rarely now. It's usually just one a day of a morning.
Awesome. You know, inflammation, guys, as you would know, and pain in the body is enormous, hey? So I can't get into the chat, but let's keep going, and then yeah, go.
Charlotte, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I just wanted to ask Eileen. Hello, Eileen. I'm Angie from Perth. Have you ever had any surgery for your plantar fasciitis?
No, that was my next step. I was under the care of a podiatrist, and she's taken casting of my feet to make inner soles. But she said, I can't help you anymore. She said, I'm at my wit's end as to why you're still having so much pain. Now I need to refer you to a foot surgeon. That was in December. That was just prior to Christmas. And then not long after that is when it kicked in, and I went, you know what? We're going to flick the surgeon away. I'm not even going to go down that track.
Fantastic. And how many years had you, how long ago did they diagnose your plantar fasciitis?
Early last year, so it would have been just over 12 months now.
Thank you, Eileen.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Guys, keep asking questions. We can just answer them for you in the chat. Eileen, if you just keep your eye on that chat. Thanks, love. So what an amazing story, guys. And, you know, to know that we have this little miracle that can help so many people is such a blessing. So if you ever feel like you're selling or feel like, you know, you feel uncomfortable sharing what you have, remember this story tonight, because this one life has been changed. And so can we do that for many, many other people. So be encouraged to share what we have. So guys, I'm going to bring on Karen. This is the only photo I could find of the two of us. So Karen and I are going to share doing some training for you on three-way calls tonight. Karen is a Pro 5, guys, and she lives on just other side of the Gold Coast. She's an amazing woman. She's a PT. She's a mum of 3. She's most of the time a single mum because her husband travels a lot. So if you haven't met her, please meet our amazing Karen Andrews.
Hey guys, thank you for having me on training tonight. Thank you, Eileen, for stepping up and doing that. You made me cry, I'll be honest. I love your story. I've been crying a lot lately because I'm getting lots of testimonials back at the moment. And I'm like, find myself in a blubbering mess on the floor. So anyway, that's...
I have to stop myself from crying because it just has such a life-changing thing. Like, it's just life-changing. It really is. It's actually given my life back.
Yeah. I'm so grateful that you listened to Kim. She's a good one. We'll keep her around for a bit longer, right? Cool. Well, tonight we're going to do some training on three-way calls or on Zoom. So for new people, like new distributors and old distributors, this is totally applicable to everyone. So three-way calls are so vital for our business, and I think that it's actually not utilised enough. But if we utilise them, they have such a phenomenal success rate. They really do. And we're going to go through why, and how to do them. So what is a three-way call? So a three-way call is a Zoom or on the phone. So all the phones are different. We'll go through that in a minute, where 3 people are talking at once. It's really cool. And for everyone that knows me personally, I'm very technically challenged, but even I can do a three-way call. So all of you guys can do a three-way call. So it's where a prospect or a new distributor is put on a call with their sponsor, and then their sponsor's enroller or upline or business partner, whichever words you want to use. And we use all of those words because some people are uncomfortable with the word upline. Some people like business partner. So whoever brought you into the business, that's who you use on your three-way call. Most of the time anyway, not all the time. So a three-way call is used to teach your new distributor what to say to prospects when they listen in on the call with you, and to introduce the new distributor or customer to other business partners or uplines within our team. And it's really important that we do that because that offers us showing people, new people that are coming into our business, support. And support is probably the biggest key to the success of your business when people are supported and trained correctly. So how do you do a three-way call? So you need a phone or a computer. So on the phone, we can do it, and all our phones are all differently. I have an iPhone, and basically when I call someone's name in my phone, something will come up and I just put add person. I add the person and then I just follow the prompts on my phone. But some people have different phones to these. So you can Google it. Google is my friend a lot. So Google how to do a three-way call on your specific phone. For Zoom, you guys can all set up your own Zoom. It's free, and that's the website, www.zoom.us, and you can set up your own free account. Zoom's fantastic. That's obviously what we're using here. Some of the leaders pay to have Zoom for the month, so we can have lots more people on it, but you guys don't have to do that. You can have, I think it's 40 minutes free, and you can get a three-way call done in way less than that. So you give the link to people, they log on, and then you can talk so that you can see each other over the screen. I like personally using Zoom. I prefer to because I like to see people who I'm talking to, but that's not the truth for everyone. So why use a three-way call system? So most times I find that when people are struggling to answer questions, I can answer questions for them in a different light. So the prospect or the person that's coming onto the three-way call with you is introduced to another person's story. So for example, my story or Charlotte's story, and it adds credibility to what we're doing here. So it adds credibility to our product and it adds credibility to our business. So it's not just on your shoulders. It edifies the sponsor to a new distributor, so being you to your new distributor or customer, because we can edify you as well in answering some of those questions. So three-way calls have been used for decades. They're not for only new people coming into the business. They're very, very effective. I think that my three-way call strike rate, I guess for want of a better term, is nearly 100%, because people like to have questions answered that sometimes you might get stuck on or you might be too close to them. And having a third-party validation is really important in this business. It validates you and it validates our business and our product. So there's some steps to follow before you do a three-way call. You don't just go and talk to someone and then throw them on a three-way call, because I'm telling you, they will run for the hills. So these are some steps. So if you've got a pen and paper, write these down. So step one, when you're talking to your prospects, whether it be customers or distributors and/or, have them watch a video. So we now have abcyellowpill.com, and that's captured all of the information that we need. That's my tool, my personal tool that I send to people, and I get them to watch it. Then I want to talk to them and find out what they know about it. So you find out a time to follow up with them after they've watched that movie or they've read the information that you've chosen to send to them. Step two, message or call your upline to see when they're available to do a call. Don't just drop it on them that, oh, I've got a three-way call in an hour. Make sure that they know in advance so that they can, like, as you guys grow in your businesses, you'll see your diary gets very, very full. So make sure that you're in contact with your upline and they know when you're about to do this so that there's no wires crossed. So tell them something key about your prospect. I always ask lots of questions. If I'm having a three-way call with someone, I want to know a little bit about them before I just get on a phone call with them, so it's not so in anyone's face. Is it a potential customer or distributor? Because that does make a difference. I'm not going to go and, tout business information to someone who is purely just a customer. And I would like to know their pain and their why. Why do they need this product and or why do they need this business? What are they actually looking for? Because then I can speak to them from where they're at, so I'm meeting them where they're at. It's really, really, really important that you find some information out about the people that you're going to bring onto these calls for your leaders so that they have some information. Can you go to that next slide, Charlotte? Thank you. So step three, calling your prospect and asking if they've watched the video. I tend to use Facebook a lot. I use Facebook Messenger a lot. I have loads of conversations on that. It's quick and it's easy for me. So I always, when I send a video out to someone, I say, when you've watched it, let me know if I know them well enough. Otherwise, I'll say, when can you watch it? And then I'll contact them. So once they've watched it, if they haven't, no problem, find out when they can, get back to them. I don't like to hassle people. But we do know the statistics in network marketing. I think, Charlotte, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's up to 7 times sometimes that people need to be spoken to about it before they will actually come on board in your business. Maybe more than that, but it's something like that. So if they did watch it, ask them, what did they like about it? What did you like about what you saw? What did you not? What questions do you have? I'm like the question asker. You have to ask a lot of questions of people so that you can find out what questions they have that you can then answer for them. And sometimes you've got to ask loads and loads before you can get that information out of them. Step 4, what if they do have questions? Do you then go straight for a three-way call? No, not necessarily. Acknowledge they have a question. Cool, it's great. Then you can ask more questions. It's like a little question factory. right? To get to the bottom of why people need it. Me personally, my goal in talking to people is I want them to find out why they need this product or why they need this business. It's not up to me to tell them why they need it. They need to find that for themselves. And if you can do that by asking people questions, you will have a lot more success in this business. So you can say, cool, it's great, you have questions. Let me ask you, what did you like about what you saw? It's really important that you ask that question because you can also validate whether they watched the video or not, because some people might tell you porcupines. You don't all tell them, but they might. So step 5. So when you ask them what did they like and they answer positively, sometimes right from there, people are ready to join, but a lot of people don't know how to close. And that's a very big problem that I have seen before. I've been guilty of it myself. I've been very nervous. Oh, it sounds like me, like you're ready to join. Some people just want to buy the product then and there. And sometimes we drag it on because we don't actually ask that question. So it sounds like me, like you're ready to join if they loved what they saw. And just be quiet for a minute and let them talk. Let them tell you what they're feeling. If you're prospecting enough, you will get a percentage of them that literally from this point on will join you in the business. And then another percentage of them will then go on to need a 3-way call. But so far, my personal experience is a lot don't need a 3-way call. They come on because the majority are customers. Step 6. So let's say they share with you what they like, but they still have questions. At that point, I would set up a 3-way call. I would suggest nobody here, and I personally, even myself, would ever say they're an expert or they have all of the knowledge, because it's really good to pull someone in to back you up. Even though, yes, I know a lot about the science and I know a lot about the product, I'll never, ever, ever stand there and say I'm the product expert, because I'm not. Other people know more than me, and it comes from a different angle, and they do need to hear it from someone else. So here's the most important thing to understand about this process. It's the transition from having a phone call or conversation with you and then adding another person into it that's a complete stranger to the person that you're talking to. So transitioning to a 3-way call, this is critical. So don't make it sound like you're bringing on the top, the best, the master at what they do. Don't do that, because you're setting yourself and that person up for possible failure, because the new person coming in may actually know more than all of us together combined. They may be a doctor, they may, so don't do that. Wording like that will create resistance, and people don't like having a hard sale on them. I know I personally don't, and if that was to happen to you, would you like it? I always say just talk to people as if you would like to be spoken to. If you don't want the hard sell put on you and someone that's like the master whatever, then don't do it to other people, because it's really off-putting. So the next slide, Charlotte. Thank you. So so transition into a 3-way call out of serving and caring. So here's an example. So that is a great question. I can tell you're serious about that question. I tell you what would be more comfortable if I got one of my partners on the line that I work with that can help answer that question for you. Can you hold on a second? Or can we make a time? Then that way the onus is off your shoulders and you're going to get some help. And never be too proud to say, hey, I can't answer that on my own. I've done that before. I can't answer it all on my own, and no one can. And that's how you transition into a 3-way call. So then how do you introduce your upline? So you do it after, not before you've made the transition. So you can edify them on the line while they're there. So for example, Mr. Prospect, boy, we're in luck. I wasn't sure if I could get him or her, or if you've pre-planned it so that you're going to call at a certain time. We've got this person online. This is the person I work with in my business, and they're going to help me answer these questions that you have. I personally, scripts are fantastic because they give you a guide of what to do. I don't use scripts. I use my own mind and my own voice, but that's an idea of what to say depending on the situation, which they will all be different. So that's it from me. Charlotte's going to go on now and go into it a little bit more in depth. But if you have any questions, throw them in the chat box and we will answer them. And I hope that's helped some of you. Just remember just to keep having the conversations with people and don't get bogged down at it. If you get stuck, reach up and ask for some help and someone will come and help you all the time. Good luck. Have fun.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. That was amazing. Do you know, I learned some stuff there, especially when it comes to not over exaggerating how amazing this person is that's going to take the call, because it can be really off-putting and intimidating. So yeah, that for me was a big takeaway there. Guys, if you believe in 3 ways, can you go into the chat and say me? Because I'd love to know, and if you use them, do you believe in them and do you use them? I'd love to see how many of us actually do use them, because I feel like I don't get enough. I would love to do a lot more 3 ways, because as Karen just said, the success rate on a 3-way, I would dare to say that my success rate is close to 100% as well. And I'm pretty sure that most of you would say that. And it's just the minute you pull in that third party, it's incredible how much credibility it adds, edification, you know, truth. It's like they've heard another person's story. It's like just confirmation of what the first person said. So they never doubt the first person, but it just brings in that extra belief and credibility when you bring in the second person. So if you're not in a habit of using 3 ways, go back, have a look at all the people you've got sitting on the fence, and please try them. Just give it a try, okay? So this is what I do, and we all have different styles. We all have different ways of how we handle the 3-way. But basically for me, this is the kind of thing I would follow and I would be thinking about. First of all, I'm always going to say thank you for the opportunity to speak to them. So not just to the prospect, but also to the distributor or the sponsor. And then I always say, would you mind if I share a bit of my story with you? So I don't just generally, you know, just run off on a tangent telling them my story. I would say, I'd love to share a bit of my story with you. Would that be okay with you? And then I'll just share a snippet of what I know, the part of my story that will resonate with them. That's the bit that I'm going to speak the most about. So as Karen said, we always beforehand need to know a little bit about this prospect. And the key thing we need to know is their why. Why would they be looking at using the product? Why would they be looking at using the business? And when we know that, it really helps me to steer my story so that it makes it applicable to them. You know, if I'm speaking to a mum who really wants to be at home with her children, and I'm talking to her about retiring my husband, she's not trying to retire her husband. She just wants to be at home. So when I tweak my story to say, do you know what? It's been my biggest desire as a mum to be at home, and I've managed to do that for 15 years. Now I've got her attention. I've got more credibility because I'm more in the same kind of category as what she is. So always try and adapt your story to really hone in on where the person is at. If you're not able to do that, then borrow somebody else's story. So for instance, if your why is not to be a mum and to be at home, but you know the person's is, you can say something like, do you know that my best friend is also in this business and she's managed to retire herself out of her job and be home full time with her family or her children? Or do you know that we have a lady in our team who's done that? So there's always stories that you can borrow, and feel free to do that. Don't take too long with your story. You know, sometimes you can be on a 3-way for half an hour. I've been on them for an hour where the person just keeps asking question after question after question. But try and limit your story to a 5-minute, maybe 6-minute story. And as I said before, make sure you hone in on what you know their why is. Remember, guys, that our stories are important to us, but it's not necessarily important to that person. So oftentimes, you know, I've been on 3-ways where the person has gone on and on and on and on about their story, and I've been cringing thinking, your story is not even applicable to my prospect. So be very careful there. ask questions. You know, as Karen said, the biggest thing I have learned in network marketing, the thing, you know, people want to know, what do I say? What script do I use? All that. For me, the biggest thing I've learned is to learn to ask questions and to listen more than what I talk. And when you master that, and I don't think any of us have yet, it's a process, you know, we're still getting there, but I'm a lot better at asking questions than what I was 6 months ago, because I now make that my focus. So ask questions to find out what you can help with or what they're looking for. Do they have a specific question that you can answer for them? So when you know their why, then you ask questions around that. So I will always say to the person, I've shared my story with you. Now I'd love to hear your story. What is it that makes you look at the product? Or what is it that makes you want to work from home? And then I really get into the emotions. Because guys, remember, stories is what sells, but facts tell. People don't want to be on a three-way call to hear fact after fact after fact. They want to hear stories. They want to hear how the pain in their feet can be reduced. They want to hear how they can be at home with their kids. Okay? Think of somebody in LifeVantage who has a similar story and share that. I mentioned that before, but just keep it short. Once all questions are answered, then assume the sale. Guys, this is another big tip, and it's one that I've had to be really disciplined on because it's so easy not to do. But when you get to a place where you can now almost close, like you just know when you're at a place when you can close, don't say something like, oh, well, you know, are you interested? Because are you interested is a yes or a no. But always assume the sale. Close by assuming that they are going to buy the product or they are going to start the business. So these are the two closes that I use all the time. Is there anything else I can help you with before we order your product? Okay, I'm assuming the sale. I'm assuming there is nothing else in the way that this person is going to buy the product. Or with business people, I'll say the next step in the process to getting you started as a distributor is for me to process your order. Do you have your payment details handy? Okay, I'm assuming the sale. If the person there says no, then I'll go, oh, have you got another question? What else can I answer for you? So they then either have to give me another question or just pull out their credit card. It's one of the two. So always assume the sale. That's a great sales technique just to help people get over that last little line. Then think, oh, I've done this one now. So guys, another thing is, what I've learned is a few of these key things here, that when I speak to men, I steer my conversation in a certain way. When I speak to professional men, I steer it in a certain way. When I speak to moms or to young people, I will steer it in a different way. And this is the kind of stuff that I could just quickly think of that I do. So for men, I know that men carry the weight heavily of providing for their families. You know, I had a chat with my husband once, and I said to him, honey, I want to apologize to you because I never realized how intense it is for a man who's got a wife and children and a family. I never realized how intense it is for you knowing you've got to provide for your family. It's a massive load that men carry. And we've often spoken about that. Now, most men would love the thought of an extra income. So very often when I'm on a three-way with a man, even if it's just my own prospect and I'm just prospecting him, I will say to him, you know what? I know how heavy you carry that load of providing for your family. Because I've spoken to my husband. I know men carry that. In fact, I think if you speak to men and you ask them what is the top thing that stresses you out, it'll be providing for my family. Because listen, all men want to do well. They want to provide as much as they can for their families. So if you say to a guy, hey, I can help you create that extra $500 on the side or $1,000 a month, it's a big deal. what I've found with professional men, guys, is that they're not necessarily looking for that extra money. But with professional guys, and I've tested this, especially on the aeroplane when I've sat next to these guys, you know, they're all kitted up, they're in their suits, and you can see it's, you know, a professional guy. I've even done this with doctors. When you speak to a doctor about income, they're not necessarily looking for more money, but what they're looking for is time. Because you see, they've got to exchange their hours for dollars. And most of the time, they only have so much sick leave or so much flexibility within their practice that if they don't work, they don't earn, they can only last for so long. So for professional men, something that is a big burden for them is no work means no pay. You know, for instance, even a dentist who's got his own practice knows no work, no pay, I can only last for so long. Maybe it's 6 weeks, maybe it's 6 months. And for them, the concept of residual income is massive. A lot of them don't even know what it is. So on the plane often, I've said to guys that I've sat next to, have you got a residual income plan? That's a great question to ask a professional, guys, is have you got a residual income plan? And I'm thinking of one specific guy on the plane. He said to me straight out, he said, I don't, but it's something I've always wanted and been thinking about. So just a little tip, you know, that I know is what ticks them to start listening to what you have. You know, mums, I've found that often mums carry guilt because they work full time. They're always rushing their children. They're missing out on games, you know, sports events and stuff. And they always walk around with this guilt of I'm missing out, I'm not being the mum I'm supposed to be. So with mums, I know that I can say stuff to them like, you may never have to miss another sports game. And you know what? When you speak to a mum like that, you're going straight to her heart. And you really need her to listen and look at what we have. And at the end of the day, this is not about manipulating anybody. This is just about helping people to get through the box mentality and just to have a look at what we have. That's all we want them to do. Because young people especially, they don't want to work the 30 to 40 hours. Years. They don't want to do that. They want to travel. They want more out of life. I find it so amazing to speak to young people because they're so much more aware of health as well. I don't know if you guys have found that, but this new generation, the Gen Ys, and let me tell you something, apparently they don't like to be called Gen Ys. Also, they don't like to be called millennials. So I've actually become really careful with that now. But these guys, they are an incredible generation that are full of energy, full of hopes and visions and dreams for their lives. So when you speak to a young person and you say to them, you can retire at the age of, 40, that may not be the thing that gets them over the line. If you say to them, you don't have to work 30 to 40 years going in Monday to Friday, working for a boss, asking for 5 minutes extra for lunch, that's what excites them. Traveling and seeing the world, that's what excites them. So just use these little things to get their attention. And then, of course, this is a big part of my market is network marketers. I love network marketers. I've got such a passion for them because I think they're such a special breed of people. I think we are just incredible because we are willing to get uncomfortable for our families. And I love that. So, guys, when I'm speaking to a network marketer, you will not get me off the phone until I've told them these things because I know what network marketers are looking for. Most of them leave because they're not making money. They don't get training. Okay, so why do they not making money? Because the retention of products is pathetic in most companies. Standard for the industry is between 5 and 10%. I just had a look at my back office before and I was sharing this with Vanessa. Almost 60% of the people in my downline, so this is everybody, orders every month. That's huge. And our statistic says that 82% order every 3 months. So I reckon our stats are even higher than that because we have a lot of people that order every 3 months as well. So when you can say to a network marketer, do you know what? I've decided I'm not working one more hour in a network marketing company where I'm going to struggle to retain my customers. That, I can tell you, for most network marketers will be a soft spot because we work so hard in getting a customer, and then it's so easy for the customers to stop when the products work but they're too expensive, and that's generally what happens. Another thing is to say to them, our product is affordable, it's unique, it's not another skincare. Okay, we have got tru-science, but you know, our flagship product is Protandem and the science around that. It's not another shake, it's not another makeup. It is a unique product. Nobody has it in the world. It's natural. Most people today want natural, guys. They don't want anything synthetic. And it has been proven scientifically. You know, further down you'll see that only 1 in every 10,000 network marketing products is scientifically proven. And we have 1. So another key thing, guys, is that there's 1,700 network marketing companies. And there's only 50 that are publicly traded. That's huge because when it's a publicly traded company, it's so much safer. Guys, when we were on tour with Cortland, he was telling G and me the story about a couple that he knew that owned a network marketing company and it was doing pretty well. But overnight, the husband was having an affair and, you know, they broke up and this whole company dissolved overnight. So imagine those distributors, and he named a few of them that had worked years and years and years to build up this massive business. They had no protection because this was a Mr. and Mrs. little business or huge business. With us, we are so protected. Then no person or no 2 people can walk in tomorrow and make a decision like that to close us down. You know, we are protected by different bodies in the state. There's about 4 different bodies that protect us. And there's shareholders and there's boards of executives. So how amazing to think we're working with a publicly listed company. Guys, and then timing, of course, is massive. You know, anybody that says to you in network marketing, timing doesn't matter, only say that because they don't have it. When you look at all statistics, you can go Google and have a look for yourself at all statistics. It says this: if you get in before the massive momentum kicks in, which we are way before that, you work 20 times less than if you got in after that. So for every hour we work now, you'd have to work 20 hours to get the same kind of result. Huge difference. And lastly, you know, most people leave, 50% I'd say leave because they don't get on with their upline, they don't get on with teams, they don't have any training, any guidance, any support. And you guys know what we have in Team Heart. Are we perfect? No. We're not. We're human, so we mess up every day, but we try hard and we want our best for every one of us. So, guys, I think that's the end. Yes, so thank you so much for joining us. I'll stop this and we can ask questions. I'll stop the recording as well. And anybody that's got a question, just